Welcome to Lotus Light Teachings, where ancient wisdom meets modern transformation. Here, we explore timeless teachings that empower you to cultivate inner peace, resilience, and personal growth. Have you ever felt like your days just slip through your fingers? Like you wake up and before you know it, you're reacting to life instead of shaping it? What if I told you that the first few moments of your morning could completely transform your life? Today, we're diving into 5 simple yet profoundly powerful affirmations that can set the tone for success, clarity, and unstoppable growth. These aren't just feel-good phrases. They are time-tested principles, rooted in wisdom, that will help you rewire your mindset and create a life of purpose. And stay with me until the end, because I'll be sharing a bonus affirmation that has the power to completely shift how you view uncertainty and unlock new opportunities in your life. Let's begin this journey together. Imagine waking up in the morning. Before you even open your eyes, your mind starts racing. Did I sleep enough? What do I have to do today? I hope today isn't as stressful as yesterday. And just like that, before you've even stepped out of bed, your day is already shaping itself, not by intention, but by habit. Most of us live in reaction mode, checking our phones the moment we wake up, rushing into the chaos of the day, letting stress and external circumstances dictate our mood. But what if you could change that? What if, instead of letting the day control you, you took charge from the very first moment? This is exactly why the words you say to yourself each morning matter. In Buddhism, it is said, "What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create." Your thoughts shape your reality. They influence your emotions, your decisions, and ultimately your future. So, today I invite you to try something different. Instead of waking up and immediately reacting, speak to yourself with intention. Say words that empower you, words that remind you who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. In the next few moments, I'll share with you 5 powerful affirmations, simple yet profound statements that will transform the way you approach your day, your challenges, and your life. Each one is rooted in wisdom, guiding you towards self-mastery, resilience, and personal fulfillment. And if you're someone who's ever struggled with self-doubt, lack of motivation, or just feeling stuck, these affirmations are exactly what you need. Are you ready to take control of your mornings and your life? Let's begin. Today, I take responsibility, a personal and reflective discourse. Have you ever felt like life was happening to you rather than for you? Like you were just a passenger on a ship, drifting wherever the currents decided to take you? Maybe you've had days, weeks, even where nothing seemed to go right. The alarm didn't go off, traffic was terrible, your boss was in a bad mood, and by the end of the day you just felt exhausted, frustrated, and powerless. I used to feel that way too. I thought that life was this unpredictable force, tossing me around like a leaf in the wind. And whenever things went wrong, my instinct was to blame something outside of me, circumstances, people, even luck. But one day, I heard a simple truth that changed everything. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your reality. It struck me like lightning. Could it be that the power to change my life wasn't out there, but right here, within me? The illusion of control. We often want life to be predictable, don't we? We want things to go our way. And when they don't, we feel frustrated, disappointed, even angry. We blame. We complain. We ask, why is this happening to me? But let's pause for a moment. What if I told you that control, the kind we chase so desperately, is an illusion? Think about it. You can't control the weather. You can't control how other people behave. You can't control random events that unfold around you. But you can control one thing: how you respond. That's the shift. The moment you stop obsessing over things you can't change and start focusing on what you can, that's when real power begins. The story of the sailor. Let me share a story. There was once a sailor who set out on a long journey across the ocean. He had studied the maps, prepared his ship, and planned everything down to the smallest detail. But the sea is unpredictable. A storm came, fierce and relentless. The waves crashed against his boat, the winds howled, and he was thrown off course. He had 2 choices. One, blame the storm, get angry, frustrated, even give up. After all, he had no control over the weather. 2. Adjust his sails. Accept the reality of the storm and adapt. Instead of fighting against the wind, he could use it to propel himself in a new direction. The wise sailor chose the second path. And isn't life just like that? Storms will come. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. That's inevitable. But what you do next, that's entirely up to you. Will you blame the storm? Or will you adjust your sails? Personal lesson in responsibility. I used to work with someone who constantly complained about his job. Every day he would talk about how unfair his boss was, how overworked he felt, how stuck he was. At first, I sympathized, but over time I noticed something. He never changed anything. He never had a conversation with his boss. He never looked for a new job. He never tried to develop new skills. He was waiting for the world to change while refusing to change himself. And that's when it hit me. So many of us do this. We complain about our situation, but we don't take action. We want things to improve without taking responsibility for making them better. But waiting is not a strategy. So I made a decision. I stopped waiting. I started taking ownership of my life. I stopped saying, I can't do this because of X. Instead, I asked, what can I do despite X? And that shift from blame to responsibility changed everything. A mindset shift, the power of questions. The questions we ask ourselves shape our reality. If you ask, why does this always happen to me? Your brain will find reasons to prove that you are a victim. But if you ask, what can I do to change this? Your brain will start looking for solutions. Try it. Next time something doesn't go your way, catch yourself. Instead of reacting with frustration, pause and ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? What's within my control that I can change? When you start asking better questions, you start finding better answers. How to take responsibility today. Taking responsibility is not just about big, life-changing moments. It's about the small choices we make every single day. Here are 3 simple ways to start. 1. Own your mornings. How do you start your day? Do you wake up and immediately check your phone, diving into emails and notifications? Or do you take a few moments to set your intentions? Try this. Every morning, before you do anything else, affirm to yourself, today, I take responsibility for my thoughts, my emotions, and my actions. This simple habit can completely reframe your mindset for the day. 2. Change your language. Pay attention to how you speak about your life. Instead of saying, I have to, try saying, I choose to. Instead of, I can't, try, how can I? Words matter. The way you speak shapes the way you think. 3. Take one small action. Responsibility doesn't mean you need to fix everything overnight. Just take one small step today. Heavy checkmark, have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Heavy checkmark, apply for that job. Heavy checkmark, start that project. Heavy checkmark, choose to respond with patience instead of frustration. Every action, no matter how small, is a step toward empowerment. Final thought. You are the author of your life. Imagine that your life is a book. Every day you write a new page. Now ask yourself, who is holding the pen? If you let other people, circumstances, and emotions dictate your actions, then you are merely a character in someone else's story. But if you take responsibility, if you own your choices, you become the author of your own life. So today, right now, in this moment, take back the pen. Write your story with intention. Because in the end, life isn't about what happens to us. It's about how we choose to respond. And that choice is yours. A question to reflect on. What's one area of your life where you can take more responsibility today? Think about it, and then do something about it. I am focused on growth, a deep and reflective discourse. Have you ever felt like you were running towards something, only to realize that the finish line keeps moving? Like no matter how much you achieve, there's always more to do, more to become, more to prove? It's exhausting, isn't it? We live in a world that glorifies the end result. The success, the recognition, the perfection. We see people who seem to have it all together, and we wonder, why am I not there yet? But what if we've been looking at growth the wrong way? The illusion of arrival. There's a silent belief that many of us carry. One day, I'll get there. One day, I'll be successful enough. One day, I'll be confident enough. One day, I'll be happy enough. But have you ever noticed? The moment you achieve something, a new desire takes its place. The goalpost moves. The journey continues. This is because growth is not a destination. It's a process. A constant unfolding. The Buddha taught the principle of bhavana. Self-cultivation. The never-ending practice of refining oneself. Not toward perfection, but toward progress. When we truly understand this, something shifts inside us. We stop chasing a final version of ourselves and start embracing the journey of becoming. The story of the river. Imagine a river flowing through a rocky landscape. It moves steadily, persistently. When it encounters a boulder, it doesn't stop. It doesn't resist. It doesn't complain about the obstacle in its path. Instead, it adjusts. It flows around, over, or even through the rock, shaping it slowly over time. And eventually, that same river, once small, once easily blocked, becomes powerful enough to carve canyons into mountains. That is growth. Not a single moment of transformation, but a lifetime of movement, adaptability, and persistence. The river does not rush to reach the ocean. It honors every twist, every turn, every challenge along the way. Now, let me ask you, are you honoring your journey? Or are you too focused on the finish line to appreciate how far you've already come? Breaking free from perfectionism. One of the biggest roadblocks to growth is perfectionism. Have you ever put off doing something because you weren't sure you'd be good at it? Starting a new job? Pursuing a passion? Speaking up for yourself? Many people delay their dreams not because they lack ability, but because they fear imperfection. But here's the truth. You will fail. You will make mistakes. You will get it wrong before you get it right. And that's not just okay. It's necessary. Think of a child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, they get back up. They don't think, maybe walking isn't for me. They just keep trying. So why do we, as adults, hold ourselves to impossible standards? Why do we expect mastery without first allowing ourselves to be beginners? Kobe Bryant once said, "Everything negative. Pressure. Challenges I saw an opportunity for me to rise." He understood something most people don't. Failure is part of the path. If you wait for perfection before you take action, you'll never move. But if you embrace the process, mistakes, struggles, and all, you will grow in ways you never imagined. A personal story. The fear of not being enough. There was a time when I struggled with this myself. I used to believe that growth meant constantly proving myself to my family, to society, even to myself. I thought that if I worked hard enough, achieved enough, I would finally feel enough. But the truth is, when you tie your worth to an outcome, you will never be satisfied. I remember working on a project that I had poured my heart into. It wasn't perfect. I knew that. But instead of finishing it and letting it be a stepping stone, I kept delaying, fixing, adjusting. It never felt ready. And one day, someone asked me, "What are you so afraid of?" I didn't have an answer. Maybe I was afraid of being judged. Maybe I was afraid of failing. Maybe I was afraid of seeing my best effort and realizing it still wasn't perfect. But then I realized growth isn't about avoiding imperfection. It's about choosing progress over paralysis. And so I released it. It wasn't perfect, but it was done. And that in itself was growth. A mindset shift. Asking the right questions. Growth isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it means facing hard truths about ourselves. But discomfort is a sign that we are stretching beyond our limitations. The next time you feel stuck, ask yourself, am I resisting growth because I fear discomfort? Am I delaying action because I'm afraid of imperfection? Am I defining success by how far I have to go, instead of how far I've come? The way we frame our thoughts changes how we experience our journey. Instead of saying, "I'm not good at this," say, "I'm getting better at this every day." Instead of thinking, "I'm falling behind," remind yourself, "My path is unfolding in its own time." Instead of fearing failure, See it for what it really is. A necessary step toward mastery. How to apply this to your life. Growth isn't something that happens someday. It happens now, in this moment. So, how can you begin shifting your mindset today? 1. Set growth-based goals. Instead of focusing on outcomes, focus on processes. For example, cross mark, I want to be successful. Heavy check mark, I want to improve my skills every day. Cross mark, I need to be perfect at this. Heavy check mark, I will embrace learning as I go. When you focus on progress over perfection, every step forward is a victory. 2. Celebrate small wins. We often wait until we reach a major milestone to feel accomplished. But the truth is, growth happens in the small moments. Heavy check mark, the extra 10 minutes of reading. Heavy check mark, the workout you showed up for, even when you didn't feel like it. Heavy check mark, the uncomfortable conversation you finally had. Acknowledge these moments. They matter. 3. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Who you spend time with influences your mindset. Are you surrounded by people who encourage learning, effort, and resilience? Or by those who keep you in a cycle of negativity and fear? Seek out mentors, books, communities that challenge you to think bigger. Final thought. The journey never ends. There is no final version of you. You are not meant to reach a single destination and stop. You are meant to evolve, adapt, expand. So today, I invite you to shift your perspective on growth. Instead of asking, when will I get there? Ask, how can I keep moving forward? Instead of fearing imperfection, embrace the fact that the river never stops flowing. Your path is unfolding exactly as it should. Now, tell me, what is one small step you can take today to grow? I am capable. A deep and personal discourse. Have you ever hesitated before taking a step forward? Convinced that you weren't ready yet? That little voice in your head whispers, you need more experience. You're not as talented as them. What if you fail? It's a voice we've all heard. Some people listen to it and stop. Others hear it, acknowledge it, and move forward anyway. The difference between the two. One believes they must be fully ready before they start. The other understands that readiness is built through action. The power within you. There's a simple but profound truth that many people forget. You are far more capable than you think. Most of us go through life underestimating our own potential, not because we lack talent or intelligence, but because we lack belief. But capability isn't something you're born with. It's something you cultivate. Think of a tiny seed. At first, it seems small, insignificant. If you judged it only by its appearance, you might dismiss it. But inside that seed lies the potential to become a towering tree. It doesn't question itself. It doesn't hesitate. It simply does what it was meant to do. It grows. And just like that seed, everything you need to succeed is already within you. Your abilities will expand as you nurture them, step by step, day by day. But the question is, will you give yourself the chance to grow? A story of courage. The young artist. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young artist who dreamed of showcasing his work in an art gallery. But every time he sat down to paint, doubt crept in. What if no one likes my work? What if I'm not as good as the others? Maybe I should wait until I'm better. And so he waited and waited. Years passed. His skills improved, but his fear remained. One day, he met a mentor, an older artist whose work was admired by many. He shared his doubts, expecting words of encouragement. Instead, the mentor simply asked, "Show me your very first painting." The young artist hesitated. It was rough, unpolished, nothing like his work now. But he brought it out. The mentor looked at it for a moment, then said, "If you had never painted this, you would have never gotten to where you are today. Your best work will come, but only if you allow yourself to create badly first." The young artist realized something that changed his life. His fear wasn't of failure. His fear was of being seen before he was perfect. But growth doesn't happen in perfection. It happens in motion. That day, he submitted his work to a gallery. Was it perfect? No. But was it progress? Absolutely. And from that moment on, He never let fear hold him back again. The lie of comparison. One of the biggest reasons people doubt themselves today is comparison. Social media has made it easier than ever to see the highlight reels of other people's lives. You see someone achieving their dreams, and you wonder, why am I not there yet? But what you don't see is their journey. The failures, the doubts, the struggles. Every successful person you admire started exactly where you are now. Think about this. Harry Potter was accepted. They all had moments of doubt. They all had reasons to quit. But they chose to believe in their capability, even when the world didn't. Now, ask yourself, are you giving yourself that same chance? The mindset shift. You become capable by doing. Most people wait until they feel ready before they take action. But here's the truth. Readiness comes through action, not before it. You don't become confident and then start speaking up. You start speaking up, and then you become confident. You don't become great at a skill before you practice. You practice, and then you become great. Courage is not something you're born with. It's something you build one step at a time. So the next time you think, I'm not ready, reframe the question. Am I ready? Ask, am I willing to learn? What if I fail? Ask, what will I learn if I try? I'm not as good as them. Ask, how can I grow from where I am today? These small shifts in thinking will change everything. How to apply this today? Taking action doesn't mean making drastic changes overnight. It means choosing small, consistent steps toward your growth. Here's how you can start. 1. Take one small risk today. Do something that challenges you. Even if it's small. Heavy checkmark, speak up in a meeting. Heavy checkmark, share your work, even if it's not perfect. Heavy checkmark, try something you've been putting off because of fear. Each time you push past self-doubt, you build trust in yourself. 2. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Instead of focusing on how far you have to go, focus on how far you've already come. Ask yourself, recognizing your own progress builds momentum. 3. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. The people around you shape your beliefs. Are you surrounded by those who encourage you to grow, or those who make you feel small? Seek out communities, books, and mentors that remind you of your potential. When you surround yourself with belief, you start believing in yourself. Final thought. You are already enough. There will never be a perfect moment to start. There will never be a time when you feel fully ready. But you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to begin. The seed does not wait for perfect conditions to grow. It pushes through the soil and reaches for the sun. And so must you. So today, take one step forward. Not because you feel ready, but because you are capable. Right now, exactly as you are. Now tell me. What is one thing you can do today to prove to yourself that you are capable? I control my attitude. A deep and personal discourse. Have you ever woken up on a day where everything felt off? Maybe you spilled your coffee, got stuck in traffic, or received a message that instantly put you in a bad mood. And just like that, the rest of the day seemed to spiral downward, as if one negative moment had set the tone for everything else. It's easy to believe that our emotions are controlled by what happens to us. That a bad morning leads to a bad day, or that difficult people make us feel frustrated. But the truth is, our emotions are not dictated by the world around us. They are shaped by how we choose to respond. We can't control the storms that come our way, but we can control how we navigate them. The power of perspective. There's a story about a monk who sat peacefully under a tree when a traveler approached him. The traveler, angry for reasons unknown, started hurling insults. He mocked the monk, questioned his wisdom, and waited for a reaction. But the monk simply smiled. The traveler, now even more irritated, asked, "Why are you not responding to me? I am insulting you." The monk replied with a calm voice, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse it, who does the gift belong to?" The traveler thought for a moment and said, "To the giver, of course." The monk nodded. "Exactly. I choose not to accept your negativity. It remains yours." This is the essence of controlling your attitude. The world may throw chaos your way, but you get to decide whether or not to absorb it. The illusion of control. We often believe that if we could just fix everything around us, we'd finally feel at peace. If my boss were nicer, I'd be happier at work. If people on the road weren't so reckless, I wouldn't be so angry. If the world were less chaotic, I'd be calmer. But this belief puts our happiness in the hands of things we can't control. Reality check. Heavy check mark. You can't control how others treat you. Heavy check mark. You can't control unexpected challenges. Heavy check mark. You can't control every outcome. But what can you control? Heavy check mark. How you react. Heavy check mark. What you focus on. Heavy check mark. The mindset you choose. The moment you shift your attention from what's out of your control to what's within it, you reclaim your power. A story of two wolves. There's an old Cherokee story about a grandfather speaking to his grandson. Inside each of us, there are two wolves constantly battling, the grandfather said. One wolf is filled with anger, resentment, envy, and fear. The other is filled with peace, gratitude, kindness, and strength. The grandson thought for a moment, then asked, "Which wolf wins?" The grandfather smiled. "The one you feed." Every time you react with anger, frustration, or negativity, you feed the first wolf. Every time you choose patience, gratitude, or perspective, you feed the second. The question is, which wolf are you feeding today? Mastering your mindset. Think of your attitude like a garden. You can't control the weather. Some days the sun will shine. Other days there will be storms. But you can control how you tend to your garden. Will you prepare the soil? Will you remove the weeds? Will you protect it from negativity? If you neglect your inner world, weeds of resentment, anger, and fear will take over. But if you nurture it with awareness, gratitude, and self-reflection, you create a space where peace and strength can grow, and no matter what storms come your way. Personal experience. The day I chose my response. I once had a day where everything seemed to go wrong. A stressful morning, a difficult conversation, an unexpected disappointment. By noon, I felt exhausted, like the world was conspiring against me. But then I paused and asked myself a simple question. Is this really ruining my day? Or am I choosing to let it? And in that moment, something shifted. The circumstances hadn't changed, but my perspective did. I realized that I didn't have to carry negativity forward. I could choose to leave it where it was. So I did. And the rest of the day felt lighter. Not because things magically got better, but because I had stopped letting them dictate my state of mind. You have that same choice. Every single day. A mindset shift. The power of the pause. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is the pause. When something upsets you, pause. Before reacting, pause. Before absorbing negativity, pause. In that pause, ask yourself, do I want to carry this frustration with me? Is this worth my peace? How else can I view this situation? That small moment of awareness is enough to shift your response. And over time, those pauses turn into a habit. The habit of mastering your attitude. How to apply this in everyday life. Here are 3 simple ways to start controlling your attitude today. 1. Start your day with intention. Before the world has a chance to influence you, set your own tone. Take a moment each morning to affirm, today I choose how I respond. No one else controls my attitude but me. This creates a mental anchor. A reminder that your emotions are yours to manage. 2. Reframe negative moments. Instead of thinking, crossmark, this is ruining my day, try, heavy checkmark, this is a small moment in a much bigger day. Instead of, crossmark, that person made me angry, say, heavy checkmark, I decide how much power I give to others. Small shifts in language create big shifts in perspective. 3. Practice gratitude in real time. Gratitude is the antidote to negativity. When you feel frustration creeping in, counter it with appreciation. Heavy check mark stuck in traffic? Be grateful for the music or podcast you're listening to. Heavy check mark dealing with a difficult person? Be grateful for the opportunity to practice patience. Heavy check mark facing a challenge? Be grateful for the chance to grow stronger. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it changes how we experience them. Final thought, the power of choice. At any moment, life can present you with a storm, a rude stranger, an unexpected challenge, an inconvenience. You can let it control you, or you can be like the monk under the tree, choosing not to accept negativity that isn't yours to carry. Because in the end, no one else controls your emotions, only you do. So, the next time life tests you, ask yourself, will I let this shape my day, or will I choose my own response? And in that moment, take your power back. I am grateful. A deep and personal discourse. Have you ever found yourself longing for something more? Maybe you've looked at your life and thought, if only I had more money, more success, more time, then I'd finally be happy. It's a thought that sneaks into all of our minds at some point. We live in a world that constantly pushes us toward the next big thing, another achievement, another milestone, another reason to feel like we've made it. But here's something to consider. What if you already have everything you need to be happy? The desert and the stream. Imagine a traveler wandering through an endless desert. The sun is scorching, the sand stretches for miles, and his throat is dry. Every step feels heavier, every moment feels more hopeless. Then, suddenly, he stumbles upon a small stream. The water is cool, refreshing. Now, what happens next depends entirely on where he places his focus. If he stares at the vast desert around him, he will feel despair. The journey ahead is long, the challenges are real, and he may never find another stream. But if he focuses on the water in front of him, he will feel gratitude. He will appreciate the relief, the nourishment, the life-giving moment he has been gifted. This is the power of perspective. Life is no different. There will always be reasons to feel lacking. There will always be things we don't have, goals we haven't achieved, struggles we wish we could erase. But at the same time, there will also always be reasons to be grateful. The question is, where will you place your focus? The truth about happiness. We often believe happiness is something we arrive at, a destination we'll reach once we've accomplished enough, earned enough, or become enough. But have you ever noticed how even when you get what you once wished for, your mind quickly moves on to the next desire? You get the job and suddenly you want a promotion. You buy the house and now you want a bigger one. You find success and now you want more recognition. It's a cycle that never ends, because external things will never be enough to fill an internal void. Buddhism teaches a simple but powerful truth. Desire is endless, but gratitude is fulfilling. When you chase more, you are always looking ahead, never truly satisfied. But when you cultivate gratitude, you are fully present, fully alive, fully at peace with what is. The real question is, are you appreciating what you have, or are you too busy chasing what's next? The perspective of the wealthiest man. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, was once asked, what is the secret to happiness? His answer wasn't about money, success, or achievements. He simply said, the happiest people I know are those who appreciate what they already have. This is coming from a man who could afford almost anything. And yet, he understands a truth that so many people miss. Gratitude creates wealth, not the other way around. Some of the wealthiest people are the most miserable, because they're constantly wanting more. And some of the simplest, most humble individuals radiate joy, because they appreciate deeply. If one of the world's richest men believes that gratitude is the key to happiness, maybe it's worth asking ourselves, what do I already have that I've been overlooking? The mindset shift. What are you focusing on? Gratitude isn't about ignoring struggles or pretending life is perfect. It's about choosing to see the beauty amidst the chaos. Next time you find yourself feeling stressed, ask yourself, am I focusing on what's missing or on what's already here? Am I seeing the desert or am I drinking from the stream? The more you train your mind to seek gratitude, the more abundant life feels. Because the truth is, heavy check mark, you don't need a perfect life to be happy. Heavy check mark, you don't need to have arrived to feel at peace. Heavy check mark, you already have enough if you choose to see it. And if you can see it, you can feel it. And if you can feel it, you will live with a kind of richness that money cannot buy. How to apply this in everyday life? Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a practice, a habit. a way of seeing the world. Here's how you can start. 1. Start your morning with one grateful thought. Before checking your phone, before letting stress take hold. Pause. Ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? Could be as simple as heavy check mark the warmth of your bed, heavy check mark the ability to breathe, heavy check mark a friend, a family member, a moment of peace. Starting the day with gratitude shifts your mindset instantly. 2. Reframe challenges with gratitude. Next time something goes wrong, challenge yourself to find something good in it. Heavy check mark stuck in traffic? Maybe it's extra time to listen to a podcast. Heavy check mark facing a setback? Maybe it's a lesson that will make you stronger. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring hardships. It means choosing to see what's still good amidst them. 3. Express gratitude to someone today. Gratitude isn't just for ourselves. It's meant to be shared. Tell someone today that you appreciate them. A text, a call, a simple thank you can change their day and yours. Gratitude multiplies when given. Bonus affirmation. I welcome the unknown as a teacher. Life is unpredictable. Sometimes that's terrifying. The unknown holds uncertainty, risks, and things beyond our control. But what if I told you that the unknown is not your enemy? It is your greatest teacher. Imagine standing at the edge of a dense forest. The path ahead is covered in mist. You don't know what lies beyond. Fear tells you to turn back. To stay where it's safe, to stick with what's familiar. But if you step forward, you may find adventure, beauty, lessons that will shape you in ways you never expected. The fear of change versus the power of possibility. Many people resist uncertainty because they fear losing control. But the most profound growth happens when we step into the unknown with curiosity instead of fear. Think of Steve Jobs. When he was fired from Apple, he had two choices. Crossmark resist change, dwell in disappointment. Heavy check mark embrace the unknown, reinvent himself, and come back stronger. And he did. Years later, he said, getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have happened to me. Why? Because he didn't fear the unknown. He welcomed it. What if, instead of fearing uncertainty, you started asking, what opportunities might this bring? What can I learn from this moment? What if this challenge is actually guiding me to something greater? When you shift from resisting uncertainty to embracing it, life opens up in ways you never imagined. Final thought. Life is happening for you. Gratitude and embracing the unknown go hand in hand. Because when you start seeing life through the lens of gratitude, you begin to trust that even the challenges, even the unexpected twists that are shaping you, they are leading you somewhere. And when you trust that, life no longer feels like something to survive, feels like something to embrace. So today, ask yourself, what can I be grateful for? And what unknown path am I willing to step into? Because in both, there is magic waiting for you. Warm, encouraging, and reflective tone that lingers in the viewer's mind. Now take a deep breath. Reflect on what you've just heard. Which of these affirmations resonated with you the most? Was it the reminder that you are in control of your attitude? Or perhaps the realization that growth isn't about perfection, but about persistence? Maybe you needed to hear that you are capable, even when self-doubt whispers otherwise. Or that responsibility isn't a burden, it's a doorway to true freedom. And let's not forget the power of gratitude. How shifting your focus from what's missing to what's present can bring instant peace. The truth is, these affirmations are not just words. They are seeds. And like any seed, they need nurturing. If you practice these affirmations daily with intention and belief, they will take root. They will grow. They will shape your thoughts, influence your decisions, and ultimately transform your reality. So I challenge you, tomorrow morning, before reaching for your phone, before letting stress take hold. Pause. Speak these words to yourself. Own them, believe them, and watch what happens. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment below and let me know which affirmation spoke to your heart the most. And if you found value in this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because when you share wisdom, you create ripples of positive change in the world. Together, Let's make each morning a step toward the life we truly desire. See you in the next journey.